What's going on, everybody? Welcome or welcome back. Again, I just want to start out my video by saying thank you to everybody who decided to join me today on this crash course. Obviously, there's a ton of different things you could be doing right now, so I really do appreciate you hopping on here with me. And hopefully, again, I'm going to do my part to make sure we can grow a little bit today. Hopefully, I can give you some information that you can utilize going forward in the future. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So, today we're going to talk about how we can actually streamline some of our business by adding some automation tools in it. So, as we start to scale, our goal is to either leverage other people's time or leverage some systems that we can actually use to take some of the mundane tasks off our plate every day. So, this is my personal CRM that I use, which is called REI Reply. In case you're interested, I'll also leave a link if you want to sign up. But you don't have to. More than likely, your CRM actually has the systems that I'm about to show you in it, your own CRM. You just never knew where they were at. Maybe you just never knew how to use them. So if you have your own personal CRM and you're curious if it does have what I'm about to show you today system-wise, ask me and I can double check. I may even know the answer. So just ask me and we'll figure it out together. But if you are interested in using REI particularly, I'll leave a link down below. So today we're going to talk about how we can actually automate follow-up by putting individuals in drip campaigns. We're going to automate some tasks as far as making sure we remind to follow up with individuals personally. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We actually have a whole section here called automations. So we're going to go to the automation tag. So as you can see, we have workflows, we have content AI, we have campaigns, and we have triggers. These are my 4 favorite things in my entire CRM because I can utilize these to streamline so much of my business that I actually don't have to be into in a day-to-day task. Because today I'm actually showing you my investor side of the business. This is just, like I said, I market for myself. So this is actually my platform that I use actually day-to-day to run my investing side of the business. Where I'm able to reach out to homeowners and see if they might be interested in selling their property. So let's go over a few of these. So workflows, I'll go through a few of these. Most of the stuff we're actually going to show you today is actually in campaigns. But workflows, what I use in workflows is a platform called SpinText SMS campaigns. So what SpinText campaigns is, it is text message campaigns to individuals who maybe they've been to my website, maybe they reach out a year ago, maybe they reach out 2 years ago, but basically they reach out to me at one point in time and express interest in selling their property. Maybe they decided not to anymore. Maybe they decided that they wanted to wait. Wife said no, husband said no, mom, dad, and sister, whoever wanted to wait. So what I use workflows for is actually follow up with these individuals, and I'll reach out to them. I'll send them a message. What I really like about SpinText is an automated platform that recycles text messages or refreshes them on a text-by-text basis. So every text message that goes out is automated. I can send out a couple thousand a day if I want, and every single text message that goes out is going to be different. It's going to have some of this. It's going to have the same message, but the text will be different. It's going to be, hey George, happy Monday. How are you doing today? And then maybe it might be, how are you doing, George? Hope you're enjoying this great Monday. Want to check in and see how you're doing. So it's the same message, but different text. So what SpinText does is it reaches out to these individuals. It sends the same message, but it sends different text. And what it just lets me do is let me just follow up with individuals without getting my message marked as spam because they're all coming out differently. So if I send out the same exact text message to everybody, and it's the same exact format, then it can look a little spammy when I'm following up with individuals. To carriers, basically, to Verizon or to, Text Mobile or to whoever these carriers are. If they see the same text message going out every time, it looks a little spammy. But if you can actually set it up where it's a different text message every time, but the same message, you can kind of bypass that. It's not as, I hate using the word scammy, but it's not as scammy. So SpinText has been great. It basically refreshes your messages on a day-to-day or on a text-by-text basis to make sure you're not going against any guidelines. So that's what SpinText is. And I won't go too deep into my platform just because I'll go over the general concept of how I use AI to streamline and automate my business, but I won't go over into my specific campaigns just because how I set it up in REI Reply won't exactly work for you unless you use REI Reply. Of course, like I said, there's probably this setup in your other platforms because this is just if and when triggers. And every platform has been around forever, so most platforms do utilize it, especially if you have a reputable CRM. So we can go to that. Yours special case together, but this is just a general concept of how you can actually use some automation to kind of streamline some things in your business. So next up, we have content AI. So what content AI actually does is, you can see, I have multiple CRMs, and I use one specifically for social media. So that's why I always say zero, but I do use it. So basically, what this is you can create funnels. They can send people down a funnel where you can gauge their interest, and they go down the funnel until they're actually ready to pull the trigger. You can send them to your website. You can do email campaigns, so you can set them up on an email campaign. You can do a social media planner, which basically just means if you want social media posts to go out every Wednesday, you can set this up to actually pull from your camera or pull from wherever, and it's going to do an automatic post every Sunday or whenever you set it up. So it kind of tries to automate some of your social media platforms, and you connect ROI Reply directly to your social media platform, so you can see how many views you're getting. You can see, and obviously you can see all this on Instagram too, but if you can see it directly in your CRM, it makes it kind of convenient. You can see everything in one place, so you can see how many views you're getting. You can see what audio is the best, what video made you money, what video had the most views. So you can also see a lot of that stuff, and you can put individuals to a funnel. So once they've seen something on your Instagram, you can check, okay, they've seen this video, I'll send them a message because they might be interested in buying or selling a home. So it's a good way to get a lot more data about what's going on in your social media platform. And this content AI, I can show you here in a second, but it actually helps you create some of your own content. So if you need some content ideas, it's going to help you create some content. So as you can see here, I have some marketing AI stuff down here that we'll go through in a second if we have the time. But actually, I'll just talk about it because, like I mentioned, what's in my CRM is not going to be in yours. But what basically this stuff is it gives you marketing ideas to post. So it's Marketing Boss basically just streamlines your content. It gives you a calendar to post stuff. It gives you post ideas to post, and it gives you relevant information. JuiceX is very similar to ChatGPT in the sense it's going to write captions for you. It's going to do all your copywriting work. And Marketing AI is pretty much just posting all this stuff for you. So you can see a lot of the information there. Again, it's going to be different for yours, but let's go over a few other things. So campaigns is probably the bulk of my business here. As you can see, we have the most campaigns out of everything. So what you can see is campaigns are a great way to follow up. So I do cold call campaigns, I do follow-up campaigns, and I do initial reach out campaigns. So what I mean by that is when I initially reach out, I'll pull a list. If you watch my other crash course, you'll see how to pull a list. So I'll pull a list of individuals who are maybe behind on their taxes, and I'll reach out to see if they might be interested in selling their property. And if so, I'm the guy that can help them. And then I'll put them in follow-up campaigns if they're not interested now, but they express interest that they might be in the future. And I put them in campaigns based off of their engagement and how likely they are to sell in the near future, medium, long term, or the long term. So you can see right now I have a lot of campaigns. So cold. So if they're not interested now, call me back in 6 months. I'll put them in a cold lead flow where automatically every 45, 60 days, 90 days, they're going to get a message from me that says, hey, this is Talon. Just checking in. I know you said last time you weren't interested in selling 123 Main Street, but wanted to follow up and see how things are going now. And you can even customize this message to say something that you can reference even personally. If they said, yeah, I'm not selling now because, the wife's in the hospital. She's getting surgery. Hey, Bob, just wanted to check back in. I know last time we spoke, you said your wife is getting surgery. How are things going? And that's very personal, and it makes them feel more like you remembered who they were, and it makes them feel like, okay, they really care about what's going on in my life. I'm going to reach back out. So you can put them in these campaigns, and it's going to follow up with them automatically. So I'll click in here so you can see real quick. But you can see on Cold Drip, I follow up with somebody every 90 days. So if they tell me they're not interested, every 3 months you're going to get a message from me just to make sure you're still not interested. And then eventually we'll connect. Because if you've been in real estate, conversations don't happen in days. They don't happen in weeks. They happen in months. I do like to track everything in my personal pipeline. So I know that from the first time I contact somebody, it takes about 187 days before they become a client or a lead. So I always try to follow up. I try to be great at follow up. As you can see, everybody gets a text message from me, and you can see a ton of these actually go out today. I don't mind showing you some of my personal stuff so you can see that if I go to, let's see if we do the last 30 days. Let's see if we have any Data here to show. Okay, it's loading real slow, so I'll show you some of the other campaigns. But every 30 days, somebody gets a message from me. If it's hot, like they need to talk to somebody before they get back to me, I want to make sure I don't lose that lead. So I'll send messages as well to be like, hey, just want to check in. I know, yesterday you said you weren't interested. You want to talk to your grandma. You want to talk to your brother. But just want to follow back in. So these messages go out pretty, more frequent than the cold drip, obviously, because these leads have already expressed interest in selling the property or interest in moving. So I'm going to follow up with them heavily until I get the lead. So maybe I'll show you here in this one. But you can see in the last 30 days, you can see, most of the messages go out. 75 messages went out of individuals I was following up with. So 58 here. So you can see, if you scroll through, you can see how many people you're actually reaching out to. So in the last 30 days, I was able to send, a couple hundred follow-ups to individuals. And this is all automatic. I didn't manually type out these messages. I didn't manually come in here and see if they were interested in selling. Or manually come in here and type messages to these individuals. It all went out automated. As you can see, you can add some code. That way, the address is there, the post code, the other stuff you can use, the day of the week. So there's a ton of different ways you can automate this business, and you can put some systems in place for it. And I'll tell you, me personally, I've also hired a VA to actually get in here, and they manage a lot of this stuff for me. So they manage the messages going through. Maybe you see the conversations tab on the side here. As you can see, as it loads, stuff is going up and it's going down because this is my VA in here personally working for me currently. As I make this video, he's going through messages and he's answering people, and these messages are coming in at the same time. So you can streamline this business very, very efficiently. So, and I'm also making a VA video. I encourage you to go check that out if you have not already. But I do have a VA video on how you can actually hire a VA, and you can put them in your system like such, and have them manage your business for you as long as you train them the right way. So that's a little bit about my follow-up systems in place. You can do some warm drip stuff. But basically, all those campaigns are if this, then that, which is IFTTT. I might have added an extra T there, but it's IFTT. If this, then that. So basically, if this happens, then I want this to happen. So you can streamline your business very efficiently. And again, this is going to be subject to what CRM you're using, but every CRM, I can almost guarantee you, has these systems in place where you can streamline some of your business and make it a little easier to manage. So that's the last thing we'll go over is some triggers. And basically triggers are when this happens, I want this to happen. So when a task happens, it's going to send me a text message. Like, hey, you just got a task. Sometimes Nathaniel, my VA, will add a task. I'm like, I need to take care of, so I'll add a task and I'll get a text message. That way I need to know I need to do it. Campaign specific triggers, which basically for me means if they respond a certain way, it's going to put them in a certain campaign. So if they respond, it's never been for sale, we'll put them in a cold drip for 90 days. If they put no or not interested or not, if they cuss me out, it's going to put them in a DNC campaign. So it automates a lot of things where if they respond a certain way, it puts them in a certain campaign automatically because I know that, typically that's going to be the best category for them. DNC and wrong number, if they respond wrong number and stuff, it's going to, put them in the wrong number. Stuff to make my life easier. Basically, if a lead has been 90 days inactive in the campaign, it's going to send me a message to be like, hey, we haven't followed up with, John in 90 days. Why don't you check on this lead and see what's going on? So there's a ton of different things you can do here. Pipeline moves. This is just for me personally. As I go through the pipeline, as you can see, we put them through. First, they become a new lead, then they're in progress, then they're a warm lead, then they go to hot lead, then they're under contract with seller, under contract with buyer. And it's a great way to build a team around that. So once it gets to under contract with seller, my disposition VA takes over. So you can make this business very streamlined. And if you get some VAs in place, it can almost be hands off while you're making money. So it's a money making machine that you don't even have to touch. So this is just some ideas on how you can actually streamline your business. I hate to keep repeating myself, but it is going to be subject to what CRM you're using. But reach out to me. I would love to dive into your CRM with you and see how we can utilize your CRM to streamline some of the stuff in your personal business, in your personal CRM. If you are interested in using REI Apply, of course, I would love to get an REI Apply with you as well to build some of this stuff out. I love REI Apply. I've been to a lot of CRMs. This is definitely one of my favorites. It is cheap, too. It's $49 a month. for all of this. I almost felt guilty getting all of this for only $49 a month, when I know a lot of CRMs are very expensive. I've paid for very expensive CRMs and they haven't done half the stuff. So, yeah, reach out to me. Let me know. We'll also go through some Zapier and some If This or IFTT. Those are two platforms, Zapier and IFTT, that we can actually use to implement some AI into our business too. AI is going to continue to grow, so you're either going to get left behind or you're going to start using it. So thank you again for coming to my crash course. Reach out to me and we'll go over some of your personal situations together. I look forward to chatting with you guys.